Hello once again everyone and welcome to Cruisnick's Purgatory. I'm your host Cruisnick X, alongside me the beautiful Arya Stormborn.
Aww, you're so cute when you're kissing up.
Boop. Anyways, so we finally got one of my favorite jobs up to level 80. So tonight we are doing the Path of the Machinist quest for Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. So there's a lot of changes to go through, and I can't wait to get through all of them. Machinist plays like an entirely different job now. But first and foremost, let me show off this gear. We are currently equipped with the newest level 80 artifact gear for Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. This is the weathered gunslinger's gear, and let me tell you something, this has become my new favorite gear. So it comes fully equipped with bottoms, thigh boots, half gloves, coat, and hat. It's definitely got that traveled cowboy look. I will go with that. Also equipped is the new artifact weapon, the level 80 weathered Fomalhaut. At least I believe I'm pronouncing that right. But anyways, now, if I had one gripe about this, it's the hand gear, which I'm going to change right now and glamour to the, why did I do that? Cast glamour. I'm going to glamour these to the Ori arm guards because I actually like it a little bit more with the shortness of the sleeves and whatnot. But enough about that. Let's talk about how much Machinist has changed. Now, it is true what they say. Machinist plays like an entirely different job now. And the devs were really not screwing around when they did. Let's put it this way. Machinist operates on a whole new level. A lot of stuff has been removed, and a lot of stuff has been added. It really does feel like it lives up to the name. Now, before we start off, let's talk about what changed in terms of actions, in terms of the role actions. Now, as with Bard in the range DPS category, we have 6 role actions to talk about. First and foremost, let's talk about what we lost. First and foremost, the abilities Arm Graze, Palisade, Refresh, and Invigorate have been removed. Invigorate was removed in conjunction with the battle system changes. As you can see, with the removal of the TP gauge, it was no longer required. Also, the ability Tactician has been reworked as a Machinist skill. We will talk about that more in a little bit. Let's talk about skills we still have. At level 6, we get Arm Graze, which is a 30-second, which has a 30-second recast time and a range of 25 yalms. It afflicts target with heavy plus 40% for a duration of 10 seconds. At level 8, we once again get Second Wind, which has a 120-second recast time and instantly restores your own HP with a potency of 500. The cure potency varies with current attack power. At level 10, you get Foot Graze, which is a 25 yalm, 30-second recast time that binds the target for 10 seconds and cancels auto attack upon execution. The target is unbound if damage is taken. At level 20, we get Peloton, which is a 20 yalm radius ability with a 5-second recast time. It increases the movement speed of yourself and your nearby party members as long as they remain within distance for 30 seconds. The effect ends when enmity is generated and it cannot be used in battle. At level 24, we get Head Graze, which is a 25 yalm 30-second recast that interrupts the use of a target's action. And finally, at level 32, we get the ability Arm's Length, a 120 recast time that creates a barrier nullifying most knockback and draw-in effects for 6 seconds, and if the barrier is struck, it inflicts the enemy with slow plus 20% for 15 seconds. Now let's get into the real reason we're here. Come on, where? Sorry, I'm using my phone this time to... Alright, let's get into the physical DP. Let's get into the actions of Machinist. Now, like I said, Machinist operates as a completely new job. The devs wanted to focus a lot on the Machinist being someone who actually utilizes machines instead of just using guns. So we have a whole slew of abilities that are new and a whole slew of changes. First and foremost, let's talk about the gauge. The ammo gauge has been completely removed. Now, if you've seen my previous Path of the Machinist quest lines, you'll remember the ammo gauge used to sit right in the middle of the W cross hotbar, so that has been completely removed. Ammunition is now no longer needed. And honestly, it was wieldy. I'm gonna be honest with you on that. It was too unwieldy and just awkward to handle. You didn't know when you could use it or when you had to use it, and you had to balance between heat and your ammo, and it just got all sorts of confusing. So this new system is a lot better. First and foremost, let's talk about let's display the job gauge description. So we still have the heat gauge, but the heat gauge has been reworked, and upon performing certain weapon skills, the heat gauge will increase, and once it's high enough, the action Hypercharge will become available. Using Hypercharge overheats your weapon and allows the use of Heat Blast and Auto Crossbow. We'll talk about all of these in a little bit. We also have a new gauge called the Battery Gauge, and the battery gauge accumulates when certain actions are performed and allows the placement of a Rook auto turret, which will attack your target. It also allows the deployment of the Automaton Queen, which is acquired at level 80. Again, we will talk about this ability in a little bit. But yeah, so it's been reworked to actually utilize a whole lot of machines. Let's talk about what we actually lost. We've lost the abilities Blank, Heartbreak, Rapid Fire, the Bishop Auto Turret, the Gauss Barrel, Dismantle, Reload, and Quick Reload. And ammo and Gauss Barrel effects have all been removed. So we no longer use the Gauss Barrel as well, which actually increased a little bit of our attack, but now, I'm really not sure why they decided to remove Gauss Barrel, because it was pretty useful, but at the same time, I guess they really need to make room for something else. But who am I to judge? Anyway, let's talk about some current ability changes. First and foremost, now Split Shot has an additional effect that increases the heat gauge by 5 points. The level 2 ability Slug Shot now delivers an attack with a potency of 100 and a combo potency of 260, as opposed to its original 200 pre-Shadowbringers. It also increases the heat gauge by 5 points. Hot Shot is now a level 4 weapon skill, as opposed to its original level 30 weapon skill. It delivers an attack with a potency of 300 as opposed to 120 pre-Shadowbringers. The previous additional effects have been removed, and it now has an additional effect of increasing the battery gauge by 20. This weapon skill does not share a recast timer with any other actions. At level 10, we still get Reassemble, which is now a 5-second duration as opposed to its original 20-second duration. At level 50, the level 54 ability Gauss Round is now a level 15 ability. It has a 30-second charge time, a potency of 150 as opposed to its pre-Shadowbringers potency of 200, and now has a maximum of can have a maximum of 3 charges. At level 18, the level 18 weapon skill Spread Shot's potency has been increased to 180 as opposed to 80, and now increases the heat gauge by 5 points. The level 35 weapon skill Clean Shot is now a level 26 ability. It now has a combo potency of 340 as opposed to its original 240 pre-Shadowbringers. The combo bonus increases the heat gauge by 5 and the battery gauge by 10 points. The level 58 weapon skill Overheat is now a level 30 Hypercharge. It has a 10-second recast time. It releases the energy building in your firearm, causing it to become overheated, increasing the potency of single target weapon skills by 20 points. The duration is 8 seconds. It has a heat gauge cost of 50, and it extends the effect duration if the firearm is already overheated. At level 40, the level 40 Rook Auto Turret ability now has a 6-second recast time, deploys a single target battle turret which will deliver auto attacks with a potency of 80, and the duration increases with remaining battery gauge at time of deployment up to a maximum of 15 seconds. It shuts down when time expires or upon execution of the Rook Overdrive ability. It has a battery gauge cost of 50 and can be used at any time. The level 68 ability, Rook Overdrive, has been made a level 40 ability. It orders the Rook Auto Turret to use Rook Overload, which delivers an attack with a potency of 400. The potency increases with the remaining battery gauge at the time of deployment, and the Rook Auto Turret shuts down after execution. If this action is not used manually while Rook Auto Turret is active, it'll be triggered automatically immediately before shutting down. The level 38 ability Wildfire is now a level 45 ability. This is still a 25 yalm range with a recast time of 120 seconds. It covers the target's body in a slow burning pitch. The action is changed to Detonator for the duration of the effect. It deals damage when time expires or upon executing the detonator ability. The potency is increased by 150 or 200 points for each of your own weapon skills you land prior to the end of the effect. The duration of wildfire lasts for 10 seconds. The level 60 ability Ricochet is now a level 50 ability with a charge time of 30 seconds. The potency, it now deals damage to all nearby enemies with a potency of 150 for the first enemy, as opposed to its pre-Shadowbringers potency of 300. The potency fall-off has been changed to 50% for all remaining enemies. It has a maximum charge of 3 at level 80. The level 64 weapon skill, Heated Split Shot, is now a level 54 ability. It now has a potency of 220 as opposed to 190. Most of its additional effects have been removed, but except for the heat gauge increase still remains. Yeah, I know, right? The level 64 weapon skill, Heated Slug Shot, is now a level 60 ability. It has a combo potency of 330 as opposed to its pre-Shadowbringers potency of 230. All additional effects have been removed, and the combo bonus of increasing the heat gauge by 5 points still remains. The level 64 weapon skill, Heated Clean Shot, is still there. Its combo potency is now 440 as opposed to its pre-Shadowbringers potency of 270. All additional effects have been removed with the exception of increasing the heat gauge by 5 points and the battery gauge by 10 points. The level 66 ability Barrel Stabilizer now increases the heat gauge by 50 rather than just setting it to 50. And finally, the level 70 ability Flamethrower now has a 100 potency as opposed to its pre-Shadowbringers potency of 60. The heat gauge effect has been removed. That was all the ability, old ability changes. Let's talk about some new abilities, huh? First and foremost, the level 35 at level 35, you gain the weapon skill Heat Blast, which is a 1.5 second recast time that delivers an attack with a potency of 220. It also has the additional effect of reducing the recast time of both Gauss Round and Ricochet by 15 seconds. It can only be executed when the firearm is overheated, and the recast timer cannot be affected by status effects or gear attributes. At level 52, we gain the weapon skill Auto Crossbow. This is a 12 yalm range with a 12 yalm radius and a 1.5 second recast time. It delivers an attack with a potency of 180 to all enemies in a cone before you, can only be executed when the firearm is overheated, and does not share a recast timer with any other actions. At level 54, we gain the trait Split Shot Mastery, which upgrades Split Shot to Heated Split Shot. At level 56, we gain the ability Tactician, in name only. This is now a 20 yalm radius instant cast with a 120 recast time. It reduces damage taken by self and nearby party members by 10% for a duration of 15 seconds. This cannot be stacked with the Bard's Troubadour or the Dancer's Shield Samba ability. At level 58, we gain the weapon skill Drill, which is a 25 yalm, 19.5 second recast time that delivers an attack with a potency of 700. This one shares it also shares a recast timer with Bioblaster. At level 60, we gain the trait Slug Shot Mastery, which upgrades Slug Shot to Heated Slug Shot. At level 64, we gain the trait Clean Shot Mastery, which upgrades Clean Shot to Heated Clean Shot. At level 72, we gain the weapon skill Bioblaster. A 12 yalm range, 12 yalm radius, 20-second recast that delivers an attack with a potency of 60 to all enemies in a cone before you. It also has an additional effect of damage over time with a potency of 60 and a duration of 15 seconds. This shares a recast timer with Drill. At level 74, we gain the trait Charge Action Mastery, which allows the third charge of Gauss Round and Ricochet. At level 76, we get Hot Shot Mastery, which upgrades the Hot Shot ability to the weapon skill Air Anchor. Speaking of Air Anchor, we also gain that at level 76. This is a 25 yalm range, 40-second recast time attack that delivers an attack with a potency of 700. It increases the battery gauge by 20 and does not share a recast timer with any other actions. At level 78, we gain the trait Enhanced Wildfire, which improves Wildfire's potency increase for landing weapon skills to 200. Finally, at level 80, we gain the trait Promotion, which upgrades the Rook auto turret to the Automaton Queen. Let's talk about her for a second. This is one of my favorite abilities to use now. Automaton Queen is a 6-second recast time instant cast, which deploys an Automaton Queen to fight at your side. The duration increases with the remaining battery gauge at the time of deployment, up to a maximum of 20 seconds. It shuts down when time expires or upon execution of Queen Overdrive. It has a battery gauge cost of 50 points. Let's take a look at some of the abilities it gets. First and foremost, we have Arm Punch, which delivers an attack with a potency of 150. Secondly, Roller Dash, which rushes the target and delivers an attack with a potency of 300. And finally, Pile Buster, or Pile Bunker, which is the Queen's Overdrive. This delivers an attack with a potency of 800. The potency increases as the battery gauge exceeds required cost at the time of the deployment. The Automaton Queen shuts down after execution, and if this action is not used manually while Automaton Queen is active, it will be triggered automatically immediately before shutting down. Whew, what a mouthful. So, that is everything regarding Machinist. It is truly a brand new job and I love it. I loved leveling it, even though I still hate DPS queues with the sort of passion you only see in old film clips of Hitler, where you can feel the frown miles away from the epicenter. Anyways, let's get on to the actual quest. Now, we've dealt with a lot of adversity when it comes to the Machinist questline. It's basically revolved around the Machinist Guild trying to be accepted, or Machinists trying to be accepted in the eyes of the Ishgardian nobles. Between the Grand Tourney in the 50 through 60 questline, dealing with the accusations posed against the Sky Steel Manufactory through 60 and 70, and it's really become... Oh, and I mean, not... I meant 30 to 50, 50 to 60, and then 60 through 70, we had to deal with the new guards. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see how this storyline progresses with this level 80 quest. Let's not waste any more time and get right down to it and speak to Stephanivien and complete the level 80 quest Machinists for the morrow. What? Okay. Ah, Chris! My prospectometer never fails. I knew your own well-honed instincts would alert you to my current turmoil. 'Tis our faithful Joy who concerns me. Her behavior has been awfully odd of late. Frequent outings to parts unknown, acting secretive, that sort of thing. It reminds me of the time her father was being held captive, and I worry that she once more finds herself the victim of nefarious circumstances. That is, as they say, where you come in. An adventurer and machinist of your caliber should have little trouble discerning the severity of her situation. Discreetly, of course. I would make a few subtle inquiries myself, but I fear that Joy, her senses on edge as they are, would soon detect the attempt. As fortune would have it, she only just left on one of her mysterious outings. You should be able to catch her in the vicinity of St. Raynet's Forum, if you leave immediately. Alright, let's have a look-see. Sorry, Joy. Hope I didn't keep you waiting too long. I just got here myself. As a matter of fact, but we best be getting along all the same. Hi, today's the day. I can feel it. Okay, probably some practice going on there. Ah, champion! Oh. You have business in the city? With my sister, mayhap. I thought I spied her in the crowd, making her way to the forum. So Lord Stephanivien is concerned for Joy, then. Well, he has placed his trust in the right agent, if it is discretion he requires. As it happens, I may even have information of use to you. It has been brought to my attention that Joy and Hilda have been spotted together in Falcon's Nest on more than one occasion. They've both earned a measure of fame here in Ishgard, you see, sufficient to warrant a curious mention to the Temple Knights when the two of them are seen traveling as a pair. I am somewhat curious about Hilda's activities myself, but I shall leave further investigations in your capable hands. Pray, convey my regards to Lord Stephanivien. Alright, so we're going to Falcon's Nest then? Or we're reporting to Stephanivien because... reasons. Oh, Chris! Welcome back! Were you able to divine aught of consequence? With Hilda, you say? What in Halone's name could they be doing in Falcon's Nest? Not a peep from my prospectometer. I suppose there's naught else for it. We must fall back on old-fashioned reconnaissance. Pray, lend me your assistance a while longer, Chris. To Falcon's Nest we go! Alright, off to Falcon's Nest. Alright. Damn, how long has it been since we've been in Falcon's Nest? There you are, Chris. Had you any idea how famous our machinists have become? I had only to mention Joy and Hilda by name to be inundated with a veritable flood of rumors. 'Twould seem our unlikely pair are en route to the Black from the Black Iron Bridge. And just like that, we have our next destination. Alright, let's mount up. The Black Iron Bridge. Where are they? Ah, here we go. Damn, overshot it.
Better than underestimating.
True. Shot from a firearm. And there can be no mistaking the owners. Come, we might have a better view from the edge of the cliff. It's no good. I've got nothing. What about you, Joy? Me mind's a blank. Easy enough to say, but a damn sight harder to do, eh? We've always had an instructor before, showing us the way. Not surprising we'd stumble a bit trying to come up with stuff on our own. I suppose I thought we'd have made more progress by now. Are you sure we shouldn't ask his lordship for a little advice? That'd defeat the purpose then, wouldn't it? If we're to stand on our own 2 feet, then we need to work this out ourselves. Aye, you've the right of it. We just keep shooting then, and hope we find our target. Let's move on. I keep meaning to ask, but how in the bloody hells do you do that? Do you flick the hairbands off when you draw the weapon, or... No time for questions, Hilda! Your breath would be better spent searching for new things to shoot!
She shoot you for giving her a lip.
Well, I guess we'll just go and follow them. 'Twas I who dreamed of the Machinist, and Wilson saw all who helped bring the idea into being. The machine we put together, well, that was driven forward by the likes of you, and Joy, and Hilda. Then, as naturally as if I had planned it, you and those 2 ladies took charge of my designs. 'Tis a strange feeling. How wildly the needle flicks twixt a mentor's pride and an inventor's longing. Twould seem, however, that our comrades are experiencing some difficulties with the particulars of developing new techniques, a problem to which we might offer a solution. But in light of their efforts to achieve independence, to simply begin bellowing directions seems boorish. Have you any ideas on how to proceed? We show them a different way. give them an example of what is possible. A fine proposal, but what exactly shall we put on display? But of course, the answer stands right there in front of me. You stand at the peak of the profession, the living embodiment of all it means to be a machinist. All we need do is have you demonstrate the techniques you have acquired and refined over the course of your illustrious career. What could possibly be more inspiring? I shall head out now and herd a suitably monstrous opponent back for you to dispatch. The sound of shots ringing out should bring the ladies running to investigate, just as theirs alerted us to their location. Right then, we can reconvene at the spot once our little show is concluded. Alright. Just down the ravine here, huh? Almost. There it is. Alright, Steve. What do you got for me? Really? I don't even think I'm gonna get to... Might as well use it. That was fun. Really, I just could have stayed on the ground and... Yeah, I know, right? Nicely done, Chris. I am truly in awe of what you can accomplish with my contraptions. Tell me, where did you learn such control and power? Well, I fought to save a distant star. I fear the magnitude of such a journey falls beyond the scope of my prospectometer, but the results of your experience speak for themselves. And assuming they were watching, our two machinist comrades will have certainly gleaned a lesson or two from your expert demonstration. Yes, I believe our work here is done. We return to Ishgard. And of course they were watching the whole time. Alright, back to Ishgard. Alright, we're back. We'll take the Ethernet to the Sky Steel Manufactory. I'll boop Arya Stormborn's nose. Boop! She likes the boops.
I like boobs. Yes, yes, I do.
I said boops, not boobs. I mean, I know you like boobs. You play with yours all the time. Anyways, let's speak to Steve. My thanks, Chris. I'd have been at a complete loss in this matter were it not for your invaluable assistance. And I imagine I am not the only one singing your praises this day. Speaking of which... Look at you two, thick as thieves you are. Seems we was right. Rather a brusque greeting, even for you, dear Hilda. Something on your minds?
Well, it was awfully convenient for Chris to put on a grand show of skill just as we was scratching our noggins over new techniques. And I'll wager it was me lordship what had him pulling the trigger.
How did you...
What, did you think he was being sneaky? The notoriously helpful champion of Ishgard popping up right where and when we needed him? Unlikely. It's not that we're ungrateful, you see. We was already trying so hard to follow in your wake. Aye. It was like being lost at sea and finding an island that's not on the map. A bit perplexing, but welcome all the same. I guess what we're saying is that you've given us our blessed bearings and a firm footing to start out charting our course.
And there you have it. Further proof that my prospectometer was in fine working order when it first chirped in your presence.
Right. Well, we've said our piece. It's time we got back to squeezing them triggers. Keep an eye out, me lordship. Soon enough we'll be the ones showing you what a machinist can do.
Yeah, I'm not even touching that one. Was my subterfuge truly so transparent? But how swiftly my charges have grown, and how easily did it slip my notice. So unlike the deliberate evolution of my inventions. But let's not forget your astounding development. I dare say no barrage of shots has ever been proven so instructional. Thank you again, Chris. And do feel free to drop by the manufactory from time to time, even when we're not threatened by some peace-shattering crisis. And with that, we've completed the level 80 Machinist quest. With it, we've unlocked the achievement, I'm a Machinist, not a man 4. And with it, we have a brand new title. One that I think I'm going to wear for quite some time. But we now have, I am now Chris Valentine, the shot heard across worlds. And I could not be more happier about that. But with that being said, we're going to move on to other jobs in the vicinity. We still have, what do we have? 3 more jobs to deal with before we do the new ones that have been released with Shadowbringers, but we'll get to that when we get to it. With that being said, that's going to conclude this episode of Cruisnick's Purgatory. Thank you to Arya Stormborn for joining us. And thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the show. As always, if you're watching this on Twitch or live at PlayStation and you like this show, click the follow button. Be sure to turn on notifications so you're well informed, and be sure to subscribe to me for access to exclusive live streams and videos. If you're watching this on YouTube and you like this video, click the like button below and leave a comment. Subscribe to my channel by clicking here. Click here to watch more by me. Click here to watch the next episode when it comes out in the new expansion, and click here to watch the original Stormblood ending. Until next time, Krizik X, signing out.